The entertainment world woke up to chaos this morning, a perfect storm of accusations, side eyes, and jaw-dropping revelations that no one saw coming. Social media timelines are on fire after reports surfaced that media mogul Jason Lee is allegedly under investigation for reasons so explosive, insiders are calling it the scandal of the year. But that's just the start. In the middle of the mayhem, whispers say Jay-Z's own family couldn't resist throwing subtle but very pointed shade his way, sending fans spiraling into theories about long-hidden tensions. And just when it felt like the drama couldn't climb any higher, Diddy's high-powered lawyer stepped up to the mic with comments that have everyone clutching their pearls. Oh, and did we mention Young Miami is somehow caught in this mess, adding fuel to an hide? Already raging fire? Eyewitnesses, anonymous sources, and even a few bold celebrities are coming forward, hinting that what's playing out in public is only a fraction of the real story. Heated private calls, cryptic Instagram posts, and hushed VIP party conversations are painting a picture that's far messier than anyone dared imagine. What's truth, what's rumor, and who's about to be exposed next? Stay with us. This is just the opening act. The night before everything hit the blogs, the air around the city's elite scene already felt charged. Sources close to the situation swear they could sense something brewing between Jason Lee and several high-profile figures. He had been seen making his usual rounds, phone in hand, whispering to certain people in dimly lit corners. Rumor had it he was holding on to some major dirt, the kind of dirt that could bring entire reputations crumbling down. But no one expected that within hours, whispers would turn into headlines claiming Jason was under investigation for a matter so murky. Even his closest allies were avoiding eye contact when asked about it. At the same time, Jay-Z's family members were seen making subtle but calculated moves online. A liked comment here, a cryptic repost there, each one sparking a wave of speculation. Some fans thought it was coincidence, others believed it was a coordinated effort to throw shade. When a family moves like that, it's never by accident. One insider allegedly said at a private after-party, the tension wasn't just between Jason and the public. It was spilling over into circles that had nothing to do with him directly. And that's where Jay-Z's name started getting dragged. And meanwhile, Diddy's lawyer, a man known for his carefully measured words, surprised everyone with a statement that seemed oddly timed. It wasn't a direct defense of Diddy, but rather a veiled comment about how certain media personalities needed to tread carefully when spreading stories without proof. Everyone knew who he was talking about, and social media ran wild with theories. Is he protecting his client, or is he warning Jason? One fan wrote on Twitter, and then like a perfectly placed plot twist, Young Miami posted a photo on her story. Nothing dramatic, just her sipping a drink in a plush lounge chair. But the caption? A single emoji of an eye. That was all it took to set the internet ablaze. Was she watching the drama? Was she involved? Or was it her way of saying she knew more than she was letting on? At a high-end rooftop event later that night, witnesses say the energy was tense. Jason arrived late, wearing a smirk that could be read as confidence or defiance, depending on who you asked. He made his way past photographers, barely stopping to pose. Across the room, a member of Jay-Z's extended family kept a close watch. Someone swears they overheard a heated exchange between Jason and a mutual acquaintance. "You better watch how you speak on my people," the voice allegedly warned. Jason's reply was cool, almost dismissive. "Your people are already watching. Me, and I'm not the one in trouble here." It was a moment that would set the tone for the rest of the night. People started choosing sides without even realizing it. Old alliances felt shaky, and conversations that were once public were suddenly happening in hushed tones. Even those with nothing to do with the feud were pulling out their phones, texting friends things like, "This is about to get ugly." Behind the scenes, the so-called investigation into Jason was said to involve more than just gossip. Anonymous tips claimed it had ties to past stories he'd run, stories that embarrassed the wrong people. One source claimed a celebrity had filed a quiet complaint months ago, and that complaint was now coming to life thanks to new evidence. Whether the claims were true or not didn't seem to matter. The perception of guilt was enough to stir chaos. And then there was the matter of the shade from Jay-Z's family. It wasn't blatant, but it was calculated. Liking a post that subtly criticized Jason, sharing an inspirational quote about loyalty over clout, and following a rival blogger within the same hour. Fans dissected each move like detectives, drawing lines between the smallest actions. "It's all connected," one popular gossip account posted. Their comment section filled with people agreeing that the pressure on Jason was clear. In the past, he'd clap back instantly at anyone questioning his credibility, but now he seemed unusually quiet online. No live streams, no explosive tweets, just silence. And that silence made everyone talk even more. Some saw it as strategy, laying low while the heat cooled down. Others thought it meant the rumors were true, and he was scrambling behind the scenes to fix the situation. The next morning, the blogs lit up again when Diddy's lawyer made a second public comment. This time, he emphasized that false narratives can cost careers. Though he didn't name names, the comment was paired with a pointed repost of a news headline about the Jason Lee investigation. It was like adding gasoline to a fire that was already burning hot. By midday, the conversation had shifted to Young Miami again. She'd been spotted leaving a restaurant with someone closely tied to both Jay-Z's inner circle and Diddy's team. Paparazzi photos showed her laughing, but her expression changed the moment she noticed the cameras. She ducked into the back of a car without answering questions. The internet had a field day, with fans asking if she was playing both sides of the feud, or if she was just unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Even in private group chats among industry insiders, the speculation was relentless. One producer allegedly texted, "Mark my words, this is going to blow up bigger than anyone thinks. People are going to start turning on each other." And just as those words spread, another development hit, a leaked voice note. In it, someone sounding suspiciously like a family member of Jay-Z could be heard saying, "We've had enough of him. It's time he learns he's not untouchable." The authenticity of the clip couldn't be confirmed, but that didn't stop it from going viral. Within hours, it was everywhere, each repost adding new captions and theories. Jason's camp remained silent, but his friends began dropping subtle hints online, suggesting they knew who was behind the smear campaign. By the end of the day, everyone involved was under a microscope. Diddy's lawyer was accused of fanning the flames instead of calming them. Jay-Z's family was accused of playing petty social media games instead of addressing issues privately. And Jason Lee? He was suddenly the center of a storm so big, no one could predict how it would end. But as messy as it had already gotten, the night wasn't over, and the most shocking twist was still on the way. As the sun dipped behind the skyline, the whispers grew louder. Industry insiders swore that the rooftop tension from the night before had spilled into the private after-parties scattered across the city. One particularly exclusive gathering at a penthouse suite became the epicenter of the latest drama. The guest list was small, but the egos in the room were enormous, and it didn't take long for sparks to fly. Jason arrived with two of his closest friends, faces tight, scanning the crowd as though they were expecting someone to approach them. Across the room, a cousin of Jay-Z sat with a glass of champagne in hand, locked in deep conversation with a well-known publicist. The publicist kept glancing toward Jason, whispering behind her hand. When their eyes finally met, it was as if the air in the room shifted. "You want to keep playing this game?" The cousin allegedly called out across the room, voice low but edged with challenge. Jason didn't flinch. "I'm not the one hiding behind cryptic posts," he shot back. The music in the background suddenly felt too loud. The other guests, caught between pretending they hadn't heard and leaning in to catch every word. Meanwhile, social media was in overdrive. While the drama was unfolding in real time, an anonymous account dropped a thread claiming to have receipts, linking Jason's alleged investigation to a past incident involving leaked photos of a celebrity couple. Screenshots of emails, blurred documents, and cryptic captions flooded the thread. Whether they were authentic didn't matter. The timing was too perfect. And the court of public opinion had already started delivering its verdict. Young Miami, meanwhile, was adding fuel to the fire without even trying. She posted another story, this time a short clip of her in a car with city lights flashing by, a smirk playing at the corner of her lips. The background song? A track famously rumored to be about disloyalty and betrayal. Fans dissected the clip instantly. "She knows exactly what she's doing," one commenter wrote. Another added, "If she drops the T, it's over for all of them." Back at the penthouse, the tension escalated. Someone close to Diddy's circle approached Jason and tried to smooth things over. "Let's take this offline," they urged, hand on his shoulder. But Jason pulled away. "They've been coming for me in the shadows. I'm done pretending this is nothing." His voice carried just enough to be overheard by several guests, one of whom wasted no time texting a blogger the exact quote. By the time the party ended, the internet had already turned the night into a narrative of betrayal, power plays, and thinly veiled threats. Every blurry photo from the event was being analyzed. Who stood next to who avoided eye contact, who left early. And in the middle of it all, Jason's silence online continued, broken only by a single post, a black background with the words, "Truth always wins." The next morning, another twist dropped. A short video began circulating of Jason walking out of a building with two men in dark suits. The clip was grainy, but that didn't stop people from speculating that they were investigators. Some claimed it was staged to make him look like a victim of a witch hunt. Others believed it was the first real sign that the investigation was serious. Diddy's lawyer couldn't resist chiming in again. Speaking to a small group of reporters, he said, "People think this is about gossip. It's not. This is about consequences." The words hit like a warning shot, and while he refused to elaborate, the implication was clear. The game had shifted from petty shade to something much more dangerous. Jay's family, on the other hand, doubled down on their cryptic behavior. A relative posted an old family photo with a caption about keeping circles clean. Fans immediately assumed it was about cutting ties with certain people, namely Jason. One gossip page even ran a poll. Should Jay-Z's family go public with what they know? The overwhelming answer was yes. As the day went on, a strange development added another layer. A respected music journalist hinted that there was a hidden connection between the alleged investigation into Jason and a recent deal involving one of Jay-Z's business ventures. "Follow the money and you'll see why the shade isn't just personal," the journalist tweeted, sending conspiracy threads into overdrive. And just when everyone thought the day's drama was over, Young Miami made an unexpected move. She went live on Instagram, smiling and chatting casually, but halfway through, someone off camera whispered something to her. Her expression shifted instantly. "Oh, they really want to play," she said with a small laugh before ending the live. Abruptly, that single moment became the most replayed clip of the night, sparking theories that she was about to drop a bombshell or that she had just been warned to stay quiet. By evening, it was no longer a question of whether this feud would escalate. It was a question of how far each player was willing to go, and who would still be standing when the dust finally settled. What no one knew yet was that the next 24 hours would bring a leak so shocking, it would pull even more people into the storm. The next morning began quietly, almost too quietly. For a scandal that had been moving at lightning speed, the silence felt unnatural, like the calm before a storm everyone knew was coming. By noon, that storm had a name, a leaked audio file, dropped anonymously, that sent the industry into panic mode. The clip was only 90 seconds long, but every second was packed with implications. Two voices, one of which sounded unmistakably like Jason Lee, were heard discussing a list of people who needed to be handled before certain stories could come out. The other voice was harder to place, but fans swore it belonged to someone deeply tied to Jay-Z's inner circle. The conversation was casual but chilling, peppered with laughter that made the whole thing feel more sinister. Within minutes, the clip had been downloaded, reuploaded, and picked apart by amateur detectives online. Some argued it proved nothing. Others said it was the smoking gun. A popular gossip blog even claimed to have the full version but was waiting for legal clearance to post it. Inside the industry, reactions were mixed. One producer reportedly texted a colleague, "This is it, careers are about to end." Meanwhile, a stylist who'd worked with both parties posted a cryptic story. "If you think you know, you don't." The layers of secrecy only deepened the intrigue. Jason's camp was quick to deny the recording's authenticity, releasing a statement through a friend's account, fake audio, fake narrative. But the denial only made people more suspicious. Why hadn't he posted it on his own page? Why use someone else to speak for him? Fans began theorizing that Jason was under pressure from powerful people to keep his mouth shut. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's family members stayed as elusive as ever. A close relative posted a quote about watching snakes reveal themselves when the grass is cut, which, of course, the internet took as a direct jab. Comment sections turned into battlefields, with some defending Jason and others demanding he be exposed once and for all. Diddy's lawyer, never one to miss an opportunity to stir the pot, was cornered by paparazzi outside a courthouse. When asked about the audio, he simply smirked and said, "Let's just say people are finally seeing the bigger picture." That one line lit up headlines within the hour, and then came the twist no one expected. Young Miami broke her silence. Late that night, she dropped a tweet that read, "Funny how the ones talking loudest are the ones shaking the most." She didn't name names, but it was enough to send her mentions into chaos. Screenshots of her hanging out with people from both camps resurfaced, with fans accusing her of knowing more than she was letting on. Later, in a private conversation that somehow leaked to a gossip site, she was allegedly heard saying, "I'm not getting in the middle of this mess. Unless they come for me." That single line became the headline on half a dozen blogs, with some interpreting it as a warning and others as a promise. Back in the real world, the stakes were climbing. A well-connected DJ claimed on a live stream that the investigation into Jason was no longer just about gossip but had crossed into legal territory. He wouldn't say more, only hinting that paper trails don't lie. At the same time, rumors began swirling that a meeting had taken place between members of Jay's family and a certain high-profile lawyer, not Diddy's, but someone with just as much pull in the industry. The purpose of the meeting was unclear, but insiders claimed it was part of a coordinated effort to shut Jason down. Jason himself was spotted later that night leaving a restaurant alone, head down, phone in hand. Paparazzi shouted questions about the leaked audio, but he ignored them, slipping into the backseat of a black SUV without a word. That silence, once again, spoke volumes to the public. By the end of the night, the battle lines were sharper than ever. Supporters of Jason were urging him to go live and tell his truth, while his critics were convinced he was hiding from the inevitable. What no one realized was that the biggest hit to his credibility wasn't going to come from Jay, Z's camp, Diddy's lawyer, or even Young Miami. It was going to come from someone no one had suspected, an old friend with a grudge and the kind of receipts that could shatter everything. That revelation was only hours away, and when it dropped, the entire conversation would shift yet again. It happened just after sunrise, when most of the city was still waking up. An Instagram account with barely 100 followers posted a carousel of screenshots, tagged with a single caption, "Enough is enough." At first, it seemed like just another anonymous attempt to grab attention, until people realized the account belonged to someone who had once been a trusted friend of Jason Lee. The screenshots told a story far messier than anyone imagined. There were alleged text exchanges where Jason bragged about setting up certain celebrities for stories, private voice notes where he mocked high-profile figures, and even photos that appeared to show him at secret meetings with rivals of the very people he publicly defended. One message in particular sent shockwaves. "If I play this right, I'll have them fighting each other while I collect the checks." The post spread like wildfire. Bigger accounts reposted them, news outlets began reaching out for interviews, and within hours, #JasonGate was trending worldwide. Fans who had been defending him just the night before were suddenly deleting their comments or switching sides entirely. "I feel played," one person tweeted. "All this time I thought he was exposing the truth, but he was just playing a game." Jay-Z's family wasted no time capitalizing on the moment. A cousin posted a short clip of themselves sipping tea with the caption, "Patience always pays off." The timing was too perfect to be coincidence, and the internet ate it up. Diddy's lawyer, clearly sensing the momentum shift, released his most direct statement yet. "It's unfortunate when influence is abused for personal gain. The public deserves transparency." He didn't name Jason, but no one needed him. Young Miami, meanwhile, decided to have some fun with the chaos. She posted a boomerang of herself laughing, holding her phone with the words "Y'all see this?" in neon letters across the screen. Her followers flooded the comments with crying laughing emojis and demands for her to spill everything. Jason's response, when it finally came, was short and defensive. On his own page, he wrote, "Y'all believe what you want. I know the truth." But the damage was already done. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with people dissecting his every word and body language in old videos, looking for signs they had missed behind the scenes. The old friend who had posted the screenshots gave a brief statement to a podcast host, claiming they had been holding on to this evidence for years but decided to release it now because karma has its timing. They hinted that there was even more to come. The receipts you've seen are just the warm-up. By that evening, the scandal had morphed into something much bigger than an investigation or shade thrown by Jay-Z's family. This was now about trust, loyalty, and the realization that the lines between friend and foe in the industry are thinner than anyone wants to admit. Even those who had no love for Jason were quietly panicking, wondering what kind of secrets he might have on them, and whether those secrets were next in line to be aired out. Diddy's lawyer was spotted leaving a late-night meeting with several industry heavyweights, his expression unreadable. Rumors swirled that they were discussing how to contain the fallout before more careers were dragged into the mess. Jay-Z's family members, for their part, seemed content to watch from the sidelines, occasionally dropping subtle jabs. That kept the fire burning without them having to say much at all. And as for young Miami, she ended the night with a final post, a black screen with the words "Stay tuned" in white letters. Whether it was a promise, a threat, or just a way to keep the audience hooked, it worked. Fans went to bed buzzing with anticipation, knowing the drama wasn't over. Because in this world, scandals don't end when the truth comes out. They end when the last person with a grudge decides they've said their piece, and judging by the shadows still lurking around this one, that moment was nowhere in sight. And that, my friends, is where we leave tonight's chaos, but you already know the story is far from over. We've got unanswered questions piling up like receipts in a tabloid office. Will Jason Lee fight back with his own bombshells? Is Jay-Z's family holding even more shade in the chamber? Will Diddy's lawyer keep fanning the flames, or is he about to drop something that could change the entire narrative? And what exactly is young Miami hinting at with those cryptic posts? Right now, the industry feels like it's one push away from total meltdown, and every player in the saga is holding their cards close. The leaks, the shade, the quiet backer meetings, it's all building to something, and when it hits, trust me, it's going to be explosive. But here's where you come in. I want to hear what you think is really going on. Do you believe Jason is the victim of a smear campaign, or has he finally been caught in his own web? Are these anonymous leaks really random? Or is someone pulling the strings from behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm reading every single one. Make sure you hit that like button if you love keeping up with the mess. Subscribe so you don't miss the next twist. And turn on those notifications, because in this world, the tea doesn't wait, and neither should you. The next chapter could drop any minute, and when it does, you'll want to be the first to know. Stay tuned, because the story is only getting started.